Anybody who wants to challenge Andre Ward to say that they're the best super middleweight, they just need to look through boxing history, man. You know, that's what it is. You know? He beat all his challengers in the Super 6, and then by default, Carl Froch gave Ward the title by knocking off Bute. You know, because Ward already knocked off Froch. Froch done Ward's work for him by knocking out Bute, and that was the lineal belt that Froch took from Bute. The IBF belt was a lineal belt from Murray Sutherland, who won the first super middleweight championship in 1984. It's a lineal belt, and Froch took that, and we saw what Ward done to Froch.
Let's stop here and review. I think boxing beats and rhymes don't even. The thing is that's so amazing that he don't even know he hung himself. Now the only thing that was true in this whole remark was that he was right about the lineal title. It was the IBF title, D-Style, because he got the years mixed up. He's 10 years off. It's 1984, not 94. But in 1984, the IBF was the only federation, when they decided to come up with this division, to have a super middleweight division. It did not exist for no other sanctioning body. So the IBF title was considered the lineal champion at that time. So in 3 years later, here come the other divisions are starting to follow suit and joining in. But the original title, lineal title, was the IBF. Whoever owned the IBF was known as the lineal champion. So that's where Calzaghe and Roy Jones and all those names came from when they had that title. In order to be the lineal champion, the IBF champion had to be defeated. So he is correct on that notion. But this is where he jumps out of the bag. I guess boxing beats and rhymes must created some type of a time machine where he likes to go back in time and give people credit for things they haven't accomplished yet, and thinks it translates to that fight. Now, according to him, Ward wins and is the lineal champion by default. By default? Can you become a lineal champion by default? Well, let's look at what a lineal champion is. Shall we? Let's do that.
The only other contender who had a say in it was Kessler, and we saw what Ward done to Kessler. Ward beat the man who beat the man who had the lineal belt. I'm interested to see what kind of mathematics you have to challenge that. You know? I'm really interested. Anyone who wants to challenge that, they have to go see Andre Ward.
Well, you want to know what mathematics I'll use? It's called arithmetic. Because if anybody wants to go see something or see anybody about it, they need to go see Carl Froch, according to arithmetic. Now, you just stated that the IBF is the lineal championship. Now, if Ward didn't beat the IBF champion, he did not become the lineal champion. Now, did he? Carl Froch did that after the fact. So Ward would have to face Froch again and beat Froch to become the lineal champion. When he beat Mikkel Kessler, Kessler hadn't even fought Froch yet. Why are you giving people accolades for things they had not yet accomplished? You cannot go back in time with a time machine to do that to try to boost up Andre Ward's resume. It doesn't work that way. No one's buying it. You know, maybe your followers on your channel, you know, this is the type of thing they get caught up and amused in. But here you have to have facts.
Yo, Beaker. This got a belt now. Who did he lose to? Ward! Even he's got a belt now. So you guys bigging up Froch for having belts now, and Ward's beating him. Baker's got a belt because he didn't have to go through Ward. Even he's got a belt now. So what the fuck are you telling me? Why aren't you bigging up Baker as well, like you're bigging up Froch? Please tell me, Karceno. And by your criteria, while Floyd is undefeated, he's still the pound for pound best. So while Ward is undefeated, he's still the best super middleweight. Now, you're a man who likes to quote legalities and why fights can't happen. You know, you're the guy in the know, Karceno. You keep trying to convince us that Lucien Bute is this big worldwide draw, box office talent. No. He can pull a few fans in Canada, and that's it. But the fact is, Showtime did not want to showcase Carl Froch against Bute. They didn't want the fight. Yeah? They didn't want Bute to fight Froch. They wanted Bute to fight, obviously, Andre Ward. That's the fight they wanted. But no, Bute and his people went ahead, did their own thing, came to the UK, fought Carl Froch, and got destroyed.
Okay, this is what you would call a half-truth. Now, he's saying Showtime didn't want this fight and that they preferred Andre Ward and that Bute's people made the mistake and chose to go and fight Froch. Here is the truth and the actual fact. Bute had one fight left on his Showtime deal, which Showtime was holding for the main event of Andre Ward facing off against Bute. Andre Ward did not want to come to Canada to do the fight, where it made more sense, where there had been tens of thousands, where he was going to host the fight at, was going to hold maybe 5, 6, maybe 7 or 8,000. And they were going to do at least 15, 16 plus in Canada, where it made more sense. Showtime would rather Bernard Hopkins or Andre Ward for that fight, for their one fight. So no, they didn't want their last fight to go to a fight of Carl Froch and Bute. They would rather that fight that they had as the last fight on their contract to go to the biggest fight that could be made. It's not that they didn't like the fight. It's just that they're not going to waste their option of the last fight to be Carl Froch and Bute. Now you understand that is the truth. And the fact of the matter is, you don't even bring up the fact that when he fought Glenn Johnson was not the choice that he was supposed to fight. Mikkel Kessler, who turned down the fight, bring that up. Mikkel Kessler, the guy y'all talk about, who was out the Super 6, was cleared to fight, nothing wrong, he turned down the fight. He didn't want to go to Canada to fight Bute. He went back to Nottingham and wanted to fight Stiglitz. So Kessler turned down the fight. These are facts that I'm giving you, not fiction. Then they went and offered the fight to Kelly Pavlik. Kelly Pavlik turned down $1.3 million from Top Rank, who was going to buy the fight. Turned it down. Then he fought Glenn Johnson. So what is the problem people have with Butte? I have no idea. And y'all have a problem with that guy who's trying to fight people. He took a pay cut to go overseas to fight Carl Froch because he wanted to be active and fight. He wanted to branch out in the UK, and yeah, he lost, but it was a home and home. He had a rematch option to fight back in Canada. So it was a home and home, and he lost that fight, but at least he took the chance. He took the risk. But Froch is the lineal champion, if you want to go by definition, because he beat the lineal champion. And what did the definition tell you? The man who beat the man. So, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It is what it is.
Carl Froch was saying Lucien Butte doesn't want no part of the Super Six. And that's the truth of it. You can say, oh, Lou DiBella and this, that, and that, man. That's not the truth. That's not the truth. Showtime had the plan set that when the tournament finished, the IBF champion, the lineal champion Butte, would face off with Ward and then top the whole division. But no. Butte said, let's go and get Froch after Ward's softened him up a little. That's what they did. You can deny it all you like. That's exactly how it went down. And to theorize or intellectualize another argument is just asinine.
That's not the truth. According to who? It's not the facts. And I want everybody to go right now to ESPN. Right now, type in Lucien Butte signs deal with Showtime. And you're going to see it November 5th, 2010. ESPN Dan Raphael interview with Ken Hertzman, the guy who put together the Super Six. I would believe him before I believe you telling me that ain't what happened. Okay. And what it says here is Butte, who fought 2 times in a row on Showtime in late 2008 and early 2009, but was not invited to join the Super Six when Hertzman put it together in July of 2009. Hertzman said his exclusion was nothing against Butte. He said the tournament was very difficult to put together, and the only way to get 5 promoters and 6 fighters on the same page was within the existing relationships I had. It wasn't that I didn't think Butte were not worthy or trustworthy. I just didn't have the depth of relationships I had with the others. And that's why he was left out. Butte was disappointed that Showtime left him out, but that's in the past. We were surprised because Lucien was the IBF champion and one of the best fighters in the division. We understand the reason. The problem was all these guys were dreaming to fight with Showtime. But at the end of the day, Lucien is more popular without being in the Super Six because everyone was speaking about him and asking why wasn't he in. You see, I don't know what in the world you be talking about, dude. You just create this stuff as you go. And you take something that's true and then you start mixing it up with what you believe and pass it off as fact. You cannot do that and try to debate with me. It's not going to work. You better challenge number 2. Because number 1 has got his title and ain't letting it go. I'm out.